Yes.
So it's on.
Yeah, there we are. Okay, this is cool. See, I learned something cool here. We're watching ourselves on her phone right now because we're connected to the GoPro. Hey, cycling community, this is Steve Grusis of the Cycling Greek. I'm here with Cat 5, and see, I already forgot, cycling or racing.
I want to say it's cycling, but it may be right.
Because on one of them it's racing. Know this. On one of them it's racing, and the other one is cycling. Yeah. Okay.
I think it's cycling, but that's just
What we're doing is a voiceover for the women's practice race that we had.
Cat 5 women's.
With Cat 4 and 5 women's practice race that we had in Clovis, California this past Sunday. So it's part of our skills clinic, and so with the skills clinic we have that every Sunday in January, and each week progresses along. And so there's a number of practice races, and I was mentoring the practice race for the women, and I recorded it. And let me tell you, there were times, whereas as a mentor, I'm supposed to just observe and not say anything, and a few times I was just biting my tongue. There were about 9 women out there?
I think there was about 9.
And
9 Cat 5s. We were all Cat 5s. I don't think there was any Cat 4s.
Okay. And the women, I think there were just 2 women that had some racing experience. You and Jamie. Was there anyone else?
I've never raced a crit a day in my life, so.
Well, not a crit, but you've done road races.
I did a road race, yes.
Oh, I thought you did a couple of them.
No, and we have some triathletes in there that are coming over to the dark side. So.
Okay. So, of the 9 women, how many are there because of you? That you actually harangued into coming in?
I didn't have to harangue too hard for some of them, but I would guess maybe half.
Okay.
By in that 6 degrees of separation way, right? Like, I posted a lot about it. I've been trying to drum it up because it's more fun with more women. So
right. Yep.
The crux of racing for me is that it's not fun if there's only like 2 people and you're just chasing each other, right?
No.
So you need people.
Right. So how many women from the race we're about to see were Rich and Wednesday classes? Kat has this small crit course that she's found, and so she gets a bunch of women out there, and they're doing some practicing on Wednesday nights. And how many women from there are there?
I would say 4
nice.
that are that are in this race were also have come out to Wednesday night at one time or another. Yeah.
Well, let's get this thing started. Okay, so this is the start right here. It seems like there's more than 9 women, but no, I think Tyler's 9-year-old son was in there.
Yeah,
too.
and like Sean is a mentor.
Right. Well, non-orange people. We were wearing orange.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's starting off, and
it didn't go out blazing. I think we all kind of just packed up, and there was a little bit of consensus. We were just going to get it warmed up.
Which I appreciate, because my racing age now is 65, and so if they're going slow, then that's good for me.
Well, and I will say, for us, Natasha and I, who are in this group, and Sabrina sometimes rides with us, like, we ride together, so we kind of know each other, but for the most part, I think most of the women that were here don't really ride together or have never ridden together. So you're kind of feeling each other out, right? At the beginning.
Right.
You're kind of trying to see who's impatient, So there wasn't a rush to, go out of the gate, like the guys kind of...
Right. Now, the woman in the yellow there that we see, she actually came from Southern California. So Clovis, California is Central California. So she drove at least 3 hours just to get here and do this.
And she's awesome.
Yeah. They don't have, I guess, any skills clinics down there. They do in Northern California, in the NCNCA. Okay, so...
I gotta say, here's my initial impression, though. I'm actually impressed by this.
Yes.
Because we're lined up. So I'm sitting third wheel right now, and we're actually fairly well lined out. I mean, you've got these 2 in the back that are, I think it's mostly trust issues, right? Nobody wants to get too close to the wheel. But the front of the like everybody's sitting a lot closer than I would expect for a brand new spanking, experience, and that actually kind of impresses me a little bit. I thought we'd be much more scattered.
Yeah, I was just going to say that even though I'm not supposed to say anything as a mentor,
You
So
did.
so basically, pardon?
Did you?
No, 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 no. I bit my tongue a lot. So as a mentor, I'm just supposed to watch, and then we meet with the group afterwards, and then we make comments on it. And the only time we're really supposed to say anything is if we see anything that is extremely dangerous going on.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, it was pretty darn safe race and a lot of these women here. It's the first time that they're doing it, and it was safe, and so that was cool. So then I was now starting to think about different tactics, and of course they don't know a lot of them don't know the racing tactics, but it was going in my mind, and so that's part of why I was biting my tongue quite a bit.
Well, and honestly, I mean, of this race, so that first pack of 6 that you can see clearly now here, like, those are all strong women. Like, some of them are endurance strong, some of them like been race strong, but they're all strong women. So this is kind of the game of, like, you're not really sure what anybody's capable of on any given day.
Okay, so now you're riding second wheel. You're in the blue.
So Natasha,
jersey.
who is so impressive, she's stronger than me. We ride together a lot. She's pulling, and I'm sitting just behind her.
So that was one of the reasons why I was biting my tongue in the beginning. She was pulling for, it seemed like laps.
Yeah,
And
she pulled longer than anybody else. She tends to, though. Like I said, she's got endurance muscle out the wazoo. She just came off a half iron like a few weeks ago, so she's in race shape. Like, she's honestly, like, she was the one that I felt like was, if she was gonna blaze out and go, she was gonna go and nobody would touch her. Like,
so
so I was happy to burn her a little bit, is what I'm saying. at the
right,
beginning.
right, yeah, gotcha. So what she needs to do when she gets into a non-practice race situation,
Yeah.
then she needs to keep her powder dry, and I think she has a little bit of a jump, and so if she can use that jump at the right time, and a lot that comes with experience, then she can she can get some separation.
Oh, she's
and-
I could see her being a crusher. Like,
Yeah.
she's got all around. That's what I mean. For me, like, I kind of know some of the women in here, and I've ridden with several of them, and so I kind of feel like she was by far the biggest threat, like, of getting away and staying away and just blowing the field away. And we may have talked a little bit before the race about tactics.
Okay, there you go. As it should be.
So what's going to happen is not completely unplanned. Timing was not planned at all.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fast forward a little bit.
Okay.
And
Still looks good though. Like, we're
Yep.
still lined out. Like, I'm impressed that actually that everybody's riding pretty clean.
okay, boom. Back we
Anna's
are.
still on. Nice.
Okay, so who is she?
That is Anna. Anna is pretty much brand new to cycling, much less any kind of racing. And we sandbagged her a little bit. We're like, yeah, no, come on, it'll be fun. And she totally jumped in. She's super strong. She just doesn't have the comfort level. I mean, like, we were teaching her to shift and stuff like a month ago.
Right. Yeah, the reason I was asking about her is that during the race, when I thought she was dropped, she would actually crawl back on.
Yeah.
And so that was impressive.
Yeah,
That
so
was
that's what I mean.
impressive.
Like, she just doesn't have the comfort. She's still kind of riding the brake. She's on a super fast bike too, which is a little squirrelier and harder to handle than if she'd started out a little lower. So I feel like all those things. So I mean, she's a super strong woman. She's just still kind of working out, getting comfortable riding the bike.
Yes, and so she did that a number of times, and so I think this was the first time, because if you see me following somebody,
Then you're the last.
Yeah, then
Yeah.
I'm the last one.
And this is this the junior woman that came and tagged on?
Oh, maybe
The
maybe.
pink helmet, yeah.
And Natasha is still pulling in the front. Okay, so
There's
now I
Anna
see
again.
that she's
Yeah,
gotten back on. So
Gotcha.
then, yeah. So Natasha's still pulling, and right now I'm saying to myself, "Get off the front! Get off the front!"
Well, but like, we honestly kind of, I will say, like, I came into this race expecting to do more than my fair share of work, just because it's a practice race, it's a women's race. Like, you want to kind of, I want to say, like, for me, there's no fun if we shred out and push the field too hard too early. So Tasha's off; she's at the back now, which means I'm at the front.
Yeah,
So that's
okay.
Tosh right there. So I must be pulling.
Oh, okay, that's right. Okay, she's right there.
And
okay.
I bumped it up, I want to say like 1.5 miles, almost 2 miles an hour for a lap, just to try and string it out a little bit and to kind of dump anybody who wasn't prepared to do. We were doing like 20 to 21 right in there was, I think, the comfort zone. That was
Yeah.
the comfort level, so.
Yeah. Okay.
But then I look back and I'm like, oh, everybody's still on, no. So everybody's going to hang, so we're going to make it a race.
Okay, I'm going to speed up again.
Yeah. Yeah, so you see Iris is jamming up here, and Iris goes.
Okay, that's Iris is in the white with the yellow helmet.
Yes, with the bright bike.
Okay.
So this is the moment. Like, you might want to rewind or pause that. Like, this is gonna be. So this is the moment when all decisions were made. was that moment when Iris pulled right and started to go. Taj and I had just started like chatting, like, oh, you know, like, do you want to jump? Do you want to think we should try and jump? Like, do you, right? We were doing that kind of thing. And while we were having that discussion, Iris, who I would never in a million years have guessed would be the one to attack, ever, kudos Iris, like, Matt, like, I can't even tell you how impressed I was that Iris was the one to jump.
And so Anna's chasing. And I like
that's Jamie.
And Jamie. Oh, that is Jamie. Okay, yes. And I was very thankful for Jamie's wheel because, again, I'm an old guy. And so you guys had actually a pretty good jump. And so she pulled us up there.
But that was the whole thing. So Iris jumped, and she forced our hand.
But a couple of you are still off, right?
Yeah, no, all of them are off. Like, I don't think they ever actually closed the app once because I bumped it up to like, I think I was going 26 after I rounded that first corner, and Tosh is coming up onto me, and then Tosh didn't. She just said I'm on, and I was like, crap, like she's on, and the rest of the pack is on, or just Tosh, or I can't look back because I just have my head down and I'm just trying to create the gap, right?
So you saw that I just jumped from the two that seemed to be lagging behind because I wanted to stay with the front.
Right. Kudos, Iris is still chasing us down. Iris, you should have just harnessed to that on the initial jump and gone, because Tosh and I would have totally gone with you.
So this is where I'm biting my tongue again. I'm saying, okay, pull through, just take over the pull for her. But you know,
well, but this is what I mean. So the thing we were counting, because the reality is like, we should have never gotten away. I burnt myself to the ground in a quarter lap. Like my heart rate was 184.
Yeah, okay.
I'm doing 26 miles an hour into the headwind on that back stretch. Do you know what I mean? Like I was burnt. Tosh saved my bacon by coming up on my wheel, and then we swapped and she started pulling off. If she hadn't, like, they would have caught me fairly easily. But what I was counting on when we got away was that they weren't going to talk to each other and work cohesively, because if they had really packed up and started doing like 30-second pulls, they would have gotten me.
So now Jamie has jumped over to the juniors.
Yeah.
And so I'm now having to go up there and tell her you can't do that now. So she's done a couple races before, but that was, USAC races before, and that was some years back, so she's not familiar with that particular rule. So I went up there.
It's a practice race, so there was kind of all sort of stuff where it was just like, we're just getting legs, and
So I went up there and said,
I
can't do that, and this is why they're in their own race, and then she would back off.
But see, that was another thing too. I felt like, I honestly, like Jamie was the one I was concerned about tactics-wise, that she was going to instantly know when we went what was happening. But for my money, I kept wondering, like, if she was going to get them together. Because, right, really what they needed was one of those women to be like, girls, get it together, 30-second pulls. And look at her. So Angie's off the front, and Angie's just into the wind by herself. Nobody's on her wheel. Like, so they're all, like, just burning themselves rather than working together. And this was yet another, which is the only reason we managed to stay away.
And this is yet another situation where I was biting my tongue, because they hadn't communicated yet with each other, just like we were saying.
They're all just chasing independently.
And they're taking god-awful long pulls. And this was a crash. Oh, and the guy that had crashed, this is in the juniors, this is the guy that took me out, that he got a broken collarbone, I got a broken collarbone, but he was okay after this. So.
And I thought for sure they were going to catch us here, because we slowed way down for that corner too, and I thought, I don't know what's going to happen, and then we, when the kid was still kind of up and moving, we kept going. And
So now she's, everybody's unsure at this point. And so I'm, again, not saying much of anything and just waiting. So those are you two guys up the front there. Okay.
No, those are the juniors. We're already out and around.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, I think we're already out and around the corner, because we had a pretty good gap by the time because I kept looking over my shoulder those first 2 laps thinking if they're going to get us, they're going to get us early. If they don't get us by a lap and a half, we're golden.
So I didn't jump up to her because I still had riders next to me. So I was still in the group. So
but that's still like Angie out front, just by herself, banging, and then you got, like, they're not working together. Iris is pulling, but they're not really, like working together. They're all just kind of...
Just.
And I feel like the thing is, like, everybody had the right idea. Like, they all realized, hey, that's a threat, right?
Right.
But they didn't think to work together. So they're all just kind of...
So who's the one in white?
That's Iris.
Iris, okay.
She's the one who made the initial jump, but didn't commit to it.
And she was pulling so long that she got tired. So when Jamie went by, Jamie didn't look to see if she was still on the wheel.
Right.
And she didn't have to, really, but Iris was too...
But that's what I mean,
too tired at that point, but then Iris will crawl back up.
Yeah.
But if she's crawling back up, that means those two are not going as fast as they can go.
And then there's Angie, who's just been, like, out there pulling and pulling and pulling, and now Jamie's sitting on her, but it's still like Angie's got to be burning too. Like,
So you see, I've gotten onto Jamie's wheel because I think now Iris is now gone for good.
yeah.
But I believe she'll come back. And
Oh, yeah.
because I think the chase group ended up to be 3, and the one in the dark suit, what was her name again?
Dark suit.
You know, the one I was asking about earlier that kept crawling up.
Oh, Anna?
Anna, yeah. That I think she may have reconnected again at a certain point. But pretty much it's like this, and so there's just the 2 of them. And now Iris is just burning matches just to get back up here.
Yeah.
So so for all you new women racers out there, what they should have done was the following. They should have communicated and said, let's go chase after them. Let's take 10-second pulls.
Right.
Something like that.
And it's not a permanent alliance. Like, I feel like women get to the point where they're thinking about like the end of the race. And I mean, the reality is like we're up the road. So they're all fighting for third right now.
And
right?
Iris has come back up.
Iris is back on. But, there's a tendency like if they pack up that they've got to pack up to the end. But really they just need to pack in the short term. Like they need to pack long enough to get us back.
Yes.
But it's taken them so long to even kind of get together. Angie's still just... So I would say this, like, kudos Angie, because I looked at her Strava, because I was curious, like what they were doing. Because obviously once we were off the front, we weren't looking back. We were so paranoid they were going to catch us. We were gone the whole time. But I looked at her Strava data, and Angie's putting out the same power I am for this race. Like, we're essentially putting, like, equal. We spike in the same. So her finishing sprint is going to be the same amount of power that I went off the front on. So we're pretty well balanced, but she's just burning and burning and burning and burning out here on the front by herself. Tosh and I off the front, we're swapping poles. So we're trying to keep legs fresh enough to go.
How often were you swapping poles?
Well, I will say this. So I burnt a match hard going off the front like that. Like I thought I was done, and that's what I mean. If they had surged at that moment and had it together, we wouldn't have even gotten half a lap.
Okay.
Because I couldn't breathe. Like I was almost to the I'm gonna have to pull over and hyperventilate stage. So Tosh, like right as I'm about to just be like call it and let up, Tosh yells that she's on my wheel, and I'm like, oh jeez. So I go like another 5 or 10 seconds, and I'm just like, I can't, I'm dead. And so Tosh comes around me, but so I think she pulled then for like almost a full lap.
Okay.
Because my heart rate was in the rafters. It took, I want to say, like at least a full lap just for my heart rate to recover enough that I could like maintain the effort.
So when she came by and she was starting her pull, did she check to see how you're doing? Did you guys talk?
Yes.
Did you say something like,
yes, we totally talked.
on the edge and
I told her I'm burnt, like it's gonna take me a few minutes, and she's like, all right, and she just pulls, and then so we would just talk with trade, and so I told her when I recovered, like, all right, like I can pull a bit, and so then we would swap. Sometimes it was 30-second pulls, sometimes it was like minute and a half pulls. It just kind of depended on
Okay, so
how the
now,
gas went.
So now, if you guys didn't talk and then she just took off on her own, what would happen then is that you'd fall back to the chase group.
I would have totally,
And then you would have worked with the chase group.
Yes.
And knowing you would have talked. Boy, you talk a lot out there.
I do.
Yes, you do. You talk a lot. Which
Well,
is
because
good.
I
which is
am
good.
not. So here's the thing: like, I am not a super strong rider. I'm not. I'm very efficient though. So I hang on to things that other riders that are stronger than me get dropped on, because I am super aware of like every watt savings counts. So
Right.
for me, like, since I know, and that's what I mean about, since I know I'm not the strongest rider out there, I can't let it come down to a sprint. I have to try and force these moves, these breaks. I have to try and thin the field down to some place where I at least have a shot. But I would have definitely, immediately started chatting with these women, because if Tosh had gone off the front, my sole goal would have been in hunting her butt down.
Yeah, so then instead of being 3 chasing 2, 3 unorganized chasing 2 organized, it would have been 4 organized chasing 1 individual out there.
Yeah, and let's be fair, Tosh may have still gotten us. She's that strong. But honestly, that's what I mean. The 3 women in this chase group, there is no reason at all that they couldn't have gotten us, except that they didn't talk
By
or
choice,
work together.
right. At a certain
But
point,
strength-wise, ability-wise, no reason they shouldn't have gotten us in a lap and a half.
Yeah, so at a certain point, they started actually working together as
When they got
should
tired,
have.
they started to tire a little bit, and that's when you suddenly get cooperative. Like, oh hey, maybe do you want to
Oh.
get organized? I'm guilty of that.
Yeah,
I
well,
was guilty
and
of that
they
too.
didn't say anything. They just went and did it correctly. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, communication is key.
Yeah.
and yeah, definitely.
I feel like, do you feel like that's part of the thing of, so this is the thing that I discovered in that like road race and stuff I was in, like, it's kind of this uneasy alliance. Like, you have to figure out like who to trust and how much to trust them. But for my money, like, if you're in a chase pack and you're not the group off in the breakaway, like, it's going to be to your benefit to talk, to work together. So there's no point in pulling this like, well, like, I'll just wait for my moment and get off. Like, you obviously need it because there's people up the road.
Yeah, it's a combination of obviously experience at the beginning level.
Yeah.
But once you get that experience, then it's basically a lesson in economics. Because if you don't give value, then you're just off the back. There's no other type of system here. It's all economics.
Yeah.
And so you have these temporary alliances, as you were saying. And then when you see, let's say you're watching Tour de France and they're coming in for the final 2 kilometers and they stop cooperating. Well, what's happening there, it's all according to the situation that's going on. Maybe somebody's going for GC, somebody's going for the sprint win. But you often see a lot of game theory going on in terms of
big fan
if
of
I
game
don't work, I'm not going to work, and I think this guy's going to work, and maybe the other guy sees, second's better than nothing type of thing.
But like, none of that's going to come into play in a Cat 5 race. Like, honestly, I'm impressed by how much we managed to make tactics work, because I thought for sure that it was just going to be kind of, I watch a lot of NorCal cycling videos, right? Because kudos NorCal.
Right.
Because he talks like about, he breaks down a race for you, so you can kind of talk about tactics and look at what these tactics look like. So that's kind of why Tosh and I have chatted a lot about tactics of like playing to our strengths, because neither one of us thinks like we're the strongest riders out there. So we have to be smarter and more efficient about it.
So NorCal cycling, yeah, you just got a shout out.
Yeah, I love it.
Next video. The Cycling Greek. Okay. Okay, so I think
so now they're working together.
Yeah, now they're working together.
In an effort. But if they had done that 4 laps back, yeah, they probably would have gotten us. But the problem is that by this point in the race, like, we didn't see them at all. Like, we were well away.
So now next week they're going to see, of course, the Cycling Greek video or commentary on this. And they're going to go, oh, okay, that's what you get. Oh, okay, this is what we have to do. So
well, it's not even that, because now we're going to employ different tactics, right?
So I was just going to ask, what
because
are
if I'm
you and
any
Natasha
one of
going
these,
to do?
if I'm any one of these 3 women, my thought now is like, either Tosh or myself rolling off the front is a danger sign, right? You can't afford to let us go. That's my thought if I'm in this pack for next week.
Now, even though you and Tasha are working together, you're not teammates. You're 2
We're
individuals.
not teammates.
Okay, and so
but we do ride a lot together, so we ride well together. We know each other really well. Like, that's what I mean. So, like, Tosh and I, when we actually ended up jumping, didn't agree to jump together. We had just like started being like, well, we could maybe jump, and then Iris went and kind of forced our hand. And I jumped probably, I think, a second before even Tosh did. And I had no idea if she was coming with me or not. Thank God she did, but...
So did you happen to notice when you guys finished how much of a time difference there was between you and this group coming in?
I didn't, but it was significant. We were through the finish line all the way down to the next corner, and nobody had even rounded the finishing corner.
Okay, so you're at least half a lap ahead.
Yeah, at least.
Okay, so speaking about temporary and uneasy alliances, it's now 2 laps to go for you guys. What are you guys doing?
For Tosh and I?
Yes.
There is no mystery for me at all. She is a stronger rider. So I essentially, as we come into that final corner, I think I fake her like we're going to sprint. I let her go, and then I sit my butt down and just coast across the finish line.
Okay. You pretty much knew the writing was on the wall then.
Well, I just honestly, like, I'm not kidding. Like, I went deeper into that just to, because the thing that stuck in my head of watching all these videos of crit and stuff and tactics was the whole, if you attack off the front, you have to mean it, right? You have to go. Don't get in tempo. You have to go. So I burnt so hard going off the front into the headwind, like I was dying. And it took, like I said, it took me a full lap just for my heart rate to get back down into tempo. And then, you know, in hindsight, looking back, I was like, okay, maybe I didn't quite need to go that far, that hard. But part of it was I was too paranoid to look around. I didn't know if Tosh was there, if Tosh had the whole group on her wheel. Like, there were so many unknowns that, you know, I was almost like panic off the front at that point.
So, which opens up a whole set of other questions that I
Uh-huh.
have for you. All right, so whenever I see your riding, I see the stuff that you're organizing, you're doing gravel, you're on the trainer, you're on rides with me and others. So you are enjoying the bike a lot.
I do like the bike a lot, yeah.
Other than me forcing you into an occasional workout, are you doing anything organized, structured in terms of your training?
I do have a training plan. I was actually on Zwift earlier today for 1 hour intervals to build my FTP. It is a road race training plan because I think the last time we had talked, nothing has changed where my surge fitness has gotten good, so I'm able to make those kind of shorter breaks with more power. But I've lost some of my ability to go long. So I find myself fatiguing, you know, not in a 30-minute crit, but at an hour and a half, you know, 2 hours, 40 miles or so seems to be the pace where I can hold it and go. And then over that, I'm burnt.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, road races are longer than 40 miles.
And they can be, yes.
They're
Usually
mostly
they
in
are.
like the 55, 60 range, it seems like, for Cat 5s, for the ones I've looked at. So for me, my focus at the moment is I lost some fitness in December, so building that back through things like this and our Wednesday nights. And then the training plan also throws in, you know, some longer rides. So like tomorrow, I'm on a longer ride with Tosh and another ex-racer friend of ours
Okay.
to go work on stretching the mileage out at a decent pace now. But yeah, it's not a fancy plan. It's essentially, you know, mostly just for me to have some sort of structure and to not burn myself out because I tend to go like all or nothing.
Okay.
Like,
okay.
yeah, let's ride everything this week. And no, it's not very healthy, so.
Yeah, it's hard, particularly in the off season. You know, obviously to be on all the time, but yeah, I noticed that for you, the quick recovery, is not so quick yet.
No,
but
it's not, and that's my biggest problem in the short stuff. That's what I mean. It took me way longer to recover from that one off than it should have. Is this them finishing sprint?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Angie, right now, you're throwing down the same power I am, dude. Like, I think she's throwing down like 600 watts or something right there. Like,
Yeah, and actually,
it's impressive.
Jamie, I think she was saying that she hadn't been on the bike for a while.
Yeah, she got married.
That's
She
right.
got married just a little while ago, so she's, I think, still
And she
enjoying
still
the
did where
honeymoon.
she was able to do that.
Is this the men's? I think this is the men's. Oh, we jumped into the men's Cat 5.
Oh,
after.
oh yeah. Okay, so this is why it was like 40 minutes. So I did my 3-4 race and the mentoring and then, you know, following you guys.
Yeah.
And now these guys, the Cat 5,
Men.
and
yeah.
again, I am racing age of 65. I'm dying.
And
I'm dying.
Tosh
so,
and I finished that race and then just jumped into this one right behind our
Yes.
race,
Yes.
like we weren't already kind of tired and yeah. But
And
I ducked out early because yeah, I
And so I'm dying here, and I know I'm dying. And then I know that's you right in front of me.
Mhm.
And they're going, Lord, please don't let me die before her. And so
Oh wow! See, if I'd known, I would have hung in longer for sure.
Yeah. So, oh gosh.
I was
So-
just looking for a steady wheel, and that was my whole game plan. Was I was just gonna sit on a steady wheel as long as I could, and
Yeah, it's
we went
interesting.
several laps in, and then yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting as I get older, is that I just can't produce the power long enough, or sustain the power for long enough. And the now Cat 5s are, and these were actually pretty strong Cat 5s as a group, and so yeah, it's getting tougher and tougher for me as I get older.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that
Well, and they kept pushing the pace because
yeah,
I think when I pulled off, they were going 27 or 28.
some of the juniors that were near the race are in there, and some of those
Yeah,
juniors
it's a
are
very mixed bag.
pretty darn strong. And then I have some teammates in there that one's strong and one is god awful strong. So and then usually he was at the front just pulling, Gary.
Oh yes, Gary.
Yeah.
Gary, who rode like 80 miles the day before on gravel. Yeah, Gary. That guy.
So yeah, I'm still in back of you, and
And I'm just any port in a storm. I'm whatever steady wheel I can get on, I get on, and I'm just trying to keep a draft somewhere, anywhere.
And you're on my steady wheel right now.
And then and I'm like, oh, this gap is slowing, so.
Yeah, thank God that maybe there's a break. Maybe the break happened.
But then this was nice
because
they're 3 wide. It's a nice big draft behind them, right? Like this is what saved my bacon as long as it did, because.
And there's really no gap. There was some splitting up there.
No, there was a sweet draft behind it. I mean, that's yeah.
Yeah.
So I wasn't throwing. I mean, I was throwing down like I want to say less than 100 watts for that whole backstretch where they're 3 wide.
Oh, so now I think I go back of this. Oh no, I don't go back of them.
And then this is where they start to kind of break up, and there's
So yeah, I'm literally hanging on for dear life on your wheel there.
And Sean goes sharp into the corner and freaks out me in the June.
Oh.
But yeah, you can see it's gotten really linear now, and it's like maybe too wide in places, but mostly just everybody's just looking for any port in a storm, any port in a storm.
And I'm hoping a brake goes up the road, then everyone else will slow down.
I'm actually trying to sit on Tyler's wheel without him realizing I'm sitting on his wheel.
Oh yeah, so he doesn't pull over.
So every
and let
time,
you through?
well, yeah. So every time he like starts to look like he's gonna glance over his shoulder, I move right and get into that gap, kind of where Sean is.
Oh, and I passed. No.
And then you jumped in front of me for a while.
Yeah.
Because then I sat on your wheel.
Oh, maybe she's gonna drop, but no. And so Tyler up there. So that is the vegan cyclist. That's VC up there.
Yeah.
And it was his son that was in the race with you guys.
Oh, yeah. He's adorable.
Yeah,
He
9 years
did
old.
good too. Yeah, he did good. He kept up the laps. This kid's gonna be awesome.
That'll be someone else that passes me up in that time. I was thankful
But
for
even this, I want to say, like, from watching other videos of Cat 5 races and stuff, like, granted, like I said, there are moments where this stretches 3 across, but I actually felt like this group did a really good job of kind of keeping it together.
Oh, yeah.
And not looking like the stereotypical Cat 5, like you see in some of these horrific videos where they're just all over the place and it's every man for himself. Like, for me, this is beautiful because this draft is what's keeping me in the game. Because I'm sitting, I think, right behind you on your wheel.
Right, which is a dangerous place to be, not from a safety point of view, but from getting dropped point of view. So I'm now just hugging on these guys' wheels as best I can, but you see there's quite a bit of distance there. And I one of the things that I was concerned about when I went into these races, especially the Cat 3-4 races, is if I was going to get the heebie-jeebies, because this is my first race back from the collarbone break in the season.
Skitch?
No.
No PTSD?
No.
Nice.
No, but usually in that one, I did come off the back and with some others, and we formed a chase group. And so I think I had that on the previous video. And so I didn't really have an opportunity to get heebie-jeebies there. But I think I was good. I think once I'm in the mix, then I was good. I'm still watching stuff. Yeah. Yes. And I think I remember.
That's where I decided that you were slowing down just enough, and there was too big of a gap, and so I had to jump up and get back in because I was worried that you were gonna get.
Yeah, and I can remember thinking to myself, "Oh, she's still here."
Yeah, I want the draft. As long as that two-man wide draft is there, like I'm gonna hang because.
No, like
I could ride that all day.
She's still here, and that means I got to stay in here. Yeah, I got to still dig.
Well, now I know. So this next week,
oh Lord,
I'm going to the finish. We're going all the way.
And now I have extra motivation because I happen to see in Phoenix in mid-February there's the Valley of the Sun. It's a stage race, 3 days, 3 stages, and they have a 65+ category.
Nice.
And I'm thinking, okay. Now I remember I made the rule of no consecutive days of riding, but I experimented with that because I'm AFib boy, of course, so that you guys know.
Do you still get to be AFib boy? Have you had AFib in a while?
Yeah, it's always there. It's always there. It's gonna be, I'm gonna be good until I'm not, I think. So I just have to manage that. Yeah, I just have to manage that. But yeah, it's been like 15, 16 months now since I've had an AFib incident. So, but of course I don't want to do things to try and incite that to happen again. So I've done that 9 days of riding with the X Block, and that turned out well. So big ride, little trainer, big ride, little trainer. And then I've had a couple of Saturday, Sunday rides, and so this is actually one of them. I did a 50. Yeah, we're just all stretched out here. I'm just hanging on, just.
I'm struggling now. I can tell I'm struggling because I start doing that. Right, you see me rock the bar.
Okay, gotcha.
That's how you know I'm in trouble.
Anything to get more power to the legs.
Yeah, just like I'm tired and I'm fatigued. That's when the upper body starts rocking, I'm in trouble.
So in this, the day before this, I just did like 50+ miles, but it was 5,100 feet of climbing, so it was a mountainous. And it was good, steady, strong racing pace going up there. So
Nice.
doing that and then doing the races here, I was pleased by how my body reacted. So I don't know why this guy's going back there. He's probably just going to go back there and just be right
The
on my
junior.
wheel and he'll be fine.
Yeah, no, yeah.
It's probably not a pump for him. He can probably go off the back like 10 lengths and then still get back on. Whereas, 6 inches from me and then
I'm all right with
dying.
them floating back because they're too skinny. They have no draft spot, so I don't want them in front of me anyway. I want the big guys. I'm always looking for a big guy to sit behind. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
especially with the Cat 5 men's. Like that's all I want is one big guy that I can just sit on a wheel and.
So this has been a few laps. I think I lasted 4 or 5 laps. I'm not sure how long we've been talking and this was going around, but
Yeah, I think I popped out when just as they came out with 7 or 8 laps or something to go, like about halfway through the race maybe.
oh, okay. So you did make it a lot farther than I.
And
Because
then
I remember when I popped
and then
off.
I pulled out.
When I popped off, I looked around and I think she went before me, but you were probably way up ahead. So, okay. But yeah, that's my motivation is I really going to make efforts to just to
Thank
utilize
Marty.
these races as much as I can because I have that stage race.
Oh
that's
no,
coming
see
up.
that's me. I'm gonna pull off and I tell you to go.
that's-
Yeah, I close the gap.
That's right. I remember that now that I see it. And I'm thinking, oh, thank God.
I have
she's
no
off.
idea if that's good etiquette or not, but I always feel bad if I'm about to get dropped for the people behind me. So I always try and shelter left for a moment and call them up
No,
before
that-
I peel off.
No, that's good.
Because
That's
I
good.
feel like a jerk, right? If I just drop and then the line goes with me, so I always try and shelter for a few extra seconds in the wind and just give them a gap to get into that before
No, I pretty much either way will work, but that was excellent. It certainly helped me.
But
So
sometimes
now-
they look at you and I'm like, no, I'm calling you up next to me, not because I want to talk to you, because I'm gonna drop off. I need you to bring the line up.
So I'm hoping that these guys, and I guess I'm so
See, look
ringed
at
by-
that break though. Yeah, there's
Yeah, and the guy in the blue.
yeah.
Now, if I had legs, I would have
He's
got
the
on
guy
his
you would've
wheel.
got on, yeah.
But I didn't have legs, and I'm
These
going
guys
with
are
this
steady,
guy.
but they're not gonna catch. They don't look like
No.
they're gonna.
No. And oops, what's going to happen to me? Do I come off here? I think okay. I'm still hanging on that guy's wheel.
This was there was just that weird headwind in this section. It was the worst place for me to jump, and yeah, I blame Iris.
Oh yeah.
It's just this one stretch like that. It was just,
And those guys would just bunch up, and I'm thinking,
yep.
okay, no, they're going to slow up enough, and I'm going to get up there. But no, that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case.
2 bike locks, and then the
Still,
1 gauge lock.
I got a great workout from all the stuff that I did that day,
This is
from that Cat 3-4 race, and this race.
Yeah,
That's like
I
money in
learned
the
a
bank
lot,
for me.
so
Yeah.
that was enough for me.
Yeah, so
And it's nice to
39
see this
bucks on
because,
that.
like I said, so when we were off the front,
Yeah, I need that.
we had no idea what anybody was doing behind
So
us,
that's
right?
hits
We just kept
and
going
the
because we were
bike
worried that they
lock.
were
So each pin
organizing to
lock,
chase.
so they
So
can't
now I'm
get
trying to leave. Now I'm trying to leave this guy. I got enough for
Yeah,
breast back
no,
there, but this
that
back
was a
there.
rookie
so
move
look
right
at-
there.
Not a
Rookie
rookie
move.
move. I got it because he was going to make it. So I thought, oh jeez. So Tasha, was she still there? Did she
Yeah.
drop
No,
off?
she pulled off right after I did. So she saw me. We were in front of her. She was back behind you. She saw me pull and then she pulled too after I pulled. She was like, "Thank God." I don't.
Ah, okay.
I will say this: I could have gone another lap or two. I'm Cat 5. All I hear is horror stories about Cat 5 men. So I wanted to be out before it got down to those last few laps where it seems like that's where the testosterone
Oh, okay,
kicks in and it
gotcha,
starts to
gotcha.
get sketchy.
Gotcha.
So that was my concern of I just don't know how these guys are going to be.
So now I'm guessing now that you heard my take on things, being and trying to get out after you did, you're going to really dig and stay in there next time.
Oh
You're gonna
yeah,
put the
no,
hood
it's game
me.
on now. Well, we'll see. We have to figure out. I have to figure out new tactics for the next race, and then we'll see how the women's race go. But yeah, but no, I'd like to jump in just because the women's Cat 5 are short enough. I feel like you just get a little recovery and jump back in with the Cat 5 men's right after. So might as well get in the leg time.
Well, the main thing I hope is that the sound is working on our video cameras.
If not, there'd be a lot of
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
interesting.
Well, there's no Strava. Yeah, there's a Strava. I'm going to link the Strava for this. Thank you for doing this. This
Yeah.
is super cool.
No, it's
Get your
interesting to see
perspective.
it. Yeah, from the other perspective. I actually had a camera on my bike, but my battery died during right at the beginning of the race.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, there goes that. So it's nice to actually see it.
So if you guys like this dual commentary thing, give me a like, comment below. Her
On to the next
channel
one.
is Cat 5 Cycling. Okay, remember, comment, like, subscribe. Look for the next one, The Cycling Greek.